Hey, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Parrish Lewis, and after 23 years as a professional photographer, I'm finally ready. I'm finally ready to share with you what goes on in my world. The things that I want to share with you all is my journey. My journey not only as a photographer, but my journey as a husband. So we'll talk about some real stuff, on the husband side. Give you my perspective, some of the things I kind of come across. I talk to you things about being a dad, some of my experiences there, and also my experiences as a photographer. So this is difficult for me, but I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you tuning in, but I do want to let you know that this isn't easy for me. I come from a generation where it's that you don't really speak about the things that you do, but you just do the things. So now I want to do something different. Open myself up and share my experiences and share my journey. I have an outline of what I like to discuss in this episode, and then I'll break down some of the things that will happen in episodes to come. So check it out. Today, I got listed here, your photography journey. Some of the bullet points that's on here are early inspiration and the first camera you used. My early inspiration comes from a local photographer in Chicago who I hired to give me some headshots. I was so intrigued with what this photographer was doing that I wanted to kind of like create something on my own. I was curious, so I wanted to learn. And I'm very technical. Before photography, I was in IT, fixing computers, programming routers and switches and all that techie geeky stuff. I'm definitely a nerd, and I'm a geek, and I love technology. Anything technology I've loved since a child. But anyway, I wanted to do something different while I was in that space. So I worked in IT for roughly about 10, 12-ish years. I like what I was doing. I just didn't like the structure in which I was doing it in, working in a corporate environment and trying to adapt to that thing. Because at that time, there was a lot of code switching going on. And your boy wasn't good with a lot of things. And I thought anyway. So and it was a bit really not me. I didn't feel myself. So I wanted to do something a little different and a lot different, I guess, and do something on my own. And when I saw this photographer shooting me, it made me realize that I can possibly have a career as a photographer. So when I first started doing photography, it wasn't that I was doing it for the art. I found photography to be something that I can do for the hustle. And what I mean by that is that I always reference my point on hustling rolls of film is what I always say. I started photography hustling rolls of film. And what I mean by that is that each roll of film has 36 exposures. So for each roll of film, back in the day, I can charge roughly 75 to $100 per roll of film that you shoot. Now, it doesn't guarantee that each photo on that roll of film is going to be good. You just need, really, if somebody hire you, you just need a couple of them to work because that's all they're going to use. But they're paying you for this whole roll of film. So that was a hustle for me as I held down my full-time job. And I wanted to take that hustle and really build on it. So over time, how I got better at it is I started going to these casting calls in Chicago. And those casting calls, I would pass out my business cards looking for people to shoot so I can shoot their casting cards, their headshots. So on a headshot, it's an 8x10 photo, your name at the bottom. And then what I would do is stamp my name or my logo right at the bottom of the photo. So that way people knew it. And I was doing, and also too, because I was doing these photo shoots for free, just so that I can have my name printed on there. And I started doing a lot of these, and people started to catch wind. And people go to castings, people, more and more people will start to see my name on the photos, and it was like, yo, who is this guy, Parrish Lewis? And I started getting real work. I started out getting work with hair care first. So I started really big in the hair care market. Think about products like Luster Products or Organic Root Stimulator or Soft Sheen, the boxes. I would shoot. Eventually, I got to the point, my work got good, where I got to the point where I was shooting the images that went on the kit boxes of these hair care companies. So even today, I can walk in a store and probably see some of my work on these boxes because they never changed these images on these hair care boxes. So that's the space that I worked in for a very long time. When I started doing that, I moved into other sectors of photography. I started to really learn the game. I found mentors in Chicago that I can talk to about my pricing structure, about how a portfolio is supposed to look, about my web presence. And after I kind of got acquainted with most of the photographers in Chicago, I did more outreach to other photographers. One of my photographers that I follow now that I look at that does really great work is Kwaku Austin. Kwaku, I remember, and he may not remember the story, but I remember when I got into photography, I started really looking at the work and was drawn to the work of Kwaku Austin. Kwaku, I gave him a call. He took my call, and asking for advice. And he said something to me that didn't make sense then, and I was a little disappointed that was all of the advice that he gave me. And what he said to me was that you got to keep shooting. And I thought it was going to be something more than that. I thought it was going to be deeper, but he said, keep shooting. And I hung up the phone. We ended that conversation, and I was lost. And I'm like, man, I got a chance to talk to Kwaku, and he told me to keep shooting. So today, it makes all the sense in the world, because it goes back to why I'm starting this YouTube channel and building consistency. To get good at anything, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep shooting. So the only way that I was even able to move into other sectors or genres, as I would call it, in photography, is that I had to keep shooting. So by me shooting, I had opportunities to shoot for these hair care brands. I also had opportunities to shoot for athletic brands such as Adidas and Nike. I've had a chance to shoot for car companies such as Toyota. I've done some photo shoots with McDonald's. I've done some photo shoots for a lot of companies that I really can't think of right now. But shooting for those companies gave me opportunity and an opening to shoot for some of the biggest television and movie platforms, such as NBC Universal, to Paramount, to Stars, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, BT. I've shot for all of the major streaming platforms that are out there. So becoming a unit still photographer in Hollywood was a bit of something that I didn't plan for. I remember going to certain movie sets and seeing that they had a photographer there on set and was wondering, how could I be that kind of person that kind of comes into movie sets and go? So what I did prior to that is that I had an opportunity to go around and do some concert photography for a very well-known music artist at the time. And I became this music artist's personal photographer. So I was on tour with this music artist, and I was exposed to so much from shooting with music videos that had union crews, because it was a big artist. So when we did a music video, it was a whole union crew, and concerts, big concerts. So I got a chance to see the big concerts and photograph a lot of that stuff. So that was really great exposure for me to kind of be in that space. But that's how I also became aware on unit stills as a photographer on a movie set. Because on those music videos, I would do just that. But I was also told at times, well, you really can't be here. We need a union photographer to be on set. And they offered me to become a union photographer because I was working with this music artist. But at the time, I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I'm with the artist. I'm good. I don't want to do the music thing. I don't want to do the movie thing. I'm kind of like want to just, it was fun. I was going on tours. I was moving around the world. And that's how I kind of like stayed there and saw that. But things changed. The music artist started to go in a different route. We decided to go different ways. And I revisited the movies, going to the movie sets, seeing the movies and shooting it. So at that same time, though, the world changed. The world changed. And the photography world changed, I should say. It changed because I was noticing that everybody had a camera. Everyone had a camera. Everybody seemed like overnight became a photographer. At some point, I was under the impression that business cards must have came in the box with these digital cameras because everyone was a photographer. And it caused things to slow down because no one knew their value. And that's the same thing that I see happening today, but I digress and I get back and I will talk about that. We got so much to talk about, guys. So much to talk about. But anyway, so when I saw that happening, my business started to slow down. And what that caused me to do is to go back into the workforce. So I went back into the workforce and staying within IT, but I did sales. And I worked for about a year and a half in that sales space until one day I got a phone call from one of my guys who's in the film industry. And he said to me, Parrish, I need you to come and meet with Spike Lee. He's looking for a photographer to shoot his movie that's filming in Chicago. So I'm sitting there thinking like, do I leave this plush job and go and try to do this photography thing again and meet with Spike Lee? Or would Spike even give me a chance because I took a whole year off and to do this? So I go over, I set up the meeting and I go and meet with Spike. Spike looked through my book so fast that I didn't think that I had the job. So I go to the car, call my wife. I'm like, yo, I went to the meeting with Spike. I think it's cool, but I'm about to go back to work. I did this on my lunch break. I'm about to go back to lunch. I'm about to go back to work off my lunch. So I get a call right when I'm on the phone with my wife. I click over. It was Spike Lee. Spike goes, Parrish, I would love for you to come and work with me on my movie. I'm like, okay, okay, cool. But I got a job. I didn't tell him that, but that's what I'm thinking to myself. I got a job. So I call my wife. I was like, yo, babe, you never believe this, but Spike want me to work on his movie. She goes, of course. I'm like, okay. And that's something else that I want to pick up on later because that talks about the support. And that's why I wanted to make this all encompassing. Anyway, I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell you that when I got that call, I became nervous. I became very, 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 very nervous because I didn't know how I was going to leave my job to do something else that I had a dream to do on movie sets. And I didn't know how this was going to turn out. Long story short, I take a leave of absence from that job and I get a chance to work on this movie set. Spike, along the way, connects me with his brother, David Lee. He says, I need you to talk to my brother because he is the unit still photographer that I usually hire for my movies. So David will help you kind of like navigate the process and kind of see what you need to do. And that way you'll be able to do the job. The other thing that I was unaware of is the price tag that it costs to actually join the union. So a lot of dilemmas that was happening, a lot of sacrifices that had to be made in order to do this thing that I wanted to do and follow my dreams and becoming this movie photographer, which I didn't even know this career existed. With 100% transparency, I didn't know that you can be a movie photographer, work on motion picture movies, and shoot pictures on movie sets. But also, too, I want to talk about my experience as a husband. You know, it's 14 years. And 14 years as an artist, yeah, there were some rocky roads. And I learned a lot. We went through counseling. We still go through counseling. And I think counseling is real. I think that every man should consider it. Every couple should do it because it's what helped us. And you have to really break yourself from being an individual and know how to be an individual in a relationship. And that, my friend, is hard. You learn more about yourself in a relationship than you really learn about the other person. And that's when it really evolves, is when you really start to grow as an individual. It's a lot of individual work. It's a lot of breaking bad habits. It's a lot of looking inward into yourself. It's a lot of self-reflection. So I want to talk about those experiences. And then also, too, I want to talk about my experiences as a dad. I mean, my kids range from age 28 girl, 23 boy, 12 boy. So seeing the older ones grow and now see the younger one kind of grow through those same things before, I can identify behaviors and experiences. It's almost surreal to be able to see this happening again. And the biggest thing that I learned with being a parent to adults is that you move out of being the primary parent that helps them make decisions, but then you become the coach. Yeah, and also the friend, because the relationship is always growing. It's always morphing into something else. So that's a pretty interesting path, and I want to be able to share those experiences with you as well on my YouTube channel. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for going on this journey with me as I learn how to communicate better here. And I grow within my own industry as well. And maybe hopefully this channel would also grow, and it'll become something that you learn and grow from and also be entertained with. So, you know the things, man. If you can just subscribe and also like, comment, share with other people, I would really appreciate that. And I hope to see you back for the next round. And yeah, we'll take it from there. And right now, I'm signing out, and I'll see you next week. Peace.